Hello and welcome back. Today I'm going to take you guys on a tour of my favourite fruit trees. We've had a lot of rain recently, so everything is really lush and green, and don't mind the sound of the creeks and the birds and everything. Everything's out, and I'm gonna have to watch out for leeches. Now let's start right here with the banana tree. So I love bananas and I love growing banana trees, and I reckon it's probably my favorite just because they're really easy to grow. They're really nice looking plants as well, and just the bunches hanging off are so cool. So basically this just grows out of the top, out of the mature trunk, and then you basically just chop this off, and each of these bunches then come off, and that's basically what you get in the supermarket. So this is almost ready actually. You can just cut this off, you can hang it upside down and it will dry out and turn nice and yellow, and they'll gradually turn yellow, and once they're yellow they're obviously ripe. So I have all sorts of different varieties of these, and they're really tasty, they're really fun to grow, easy, and as you can see they just pop up new kind of, they're actually part of the ginger family, and they pop up as new rhizomes, which are under the ground, kind of the roots grow and they'll pop up different, they'll grow new kind of shoots, and each new tree is what produces one banana bunch. Now this is quite a regular variety, but I do also have some red bananas. I haven't eaten any of them yet. I did get a fruiting one year, but in a storm unfortunately the tree snapped and broke and I didn't really end up getting to eat them, but they're very cool, they're red. And I'll show you the tree, and I might be able to find a photo and pop in the photo of the red bananas, but I can't wait to have my first crop of red bananas. They're supposed to be some kind of superfood. Grown. Now this is an absolute overgrown mess at the moment, and it's prime leech territory, so I'm not going to stay here long, but these are my mango trees. They're a bit covered and I need to pull these weeds off, but here's a big one here, another one there, and I've got a few smaller ones around. Now I'd say these are about 10ish years old, or even a bit longer, and I have got some really good fruiting and some good crop from them over the years. They're just the general variety, like the Kensington I think, anyway, something along those lines. They're really nice, but they can be a bit fiddly to grow, and they don't like a lot of rain when they're flowering. Otherwise the flowers kind of rot and they don't really produce very well. And this year it obviously has rained a lot, and it rained a lot when they were starting to flower, so sadly no mangoes this year. Now over here is my guava tree, and this one's quite special. You can see there's a few fruit on there and they are getting close to being ready. I did get a couple of fruit of this last year, but very sadly they fell off and I didn't get to eat them. By the time I found them they were rotten, and I was quite sad about that. So that is a pink guava, and they are very nice, and you'll often see them when you go to like tropical resorts, and yeah, I reckon they'll have another month or so and hopefully they'll be ready to pick and eat. Now this is another very interesting tree. This is a jackfruit tree, and I don't know, you don't see many of them around here, and they're very common in like Asia. They grow massive fruits off the trunk, so not off the ends of the leaves or the branches like most plants or most fruit trees. They grow right off the main part of the trunk, and the fruits are massive. They're like this big and they're like really heavy, like many kilograms. This is probably about 2 years old. It hasn't fruited yet. I think it needs to be, you know, a bit bigger and stronger before it starts fruiting, but it is going really well this year with all the rain. It has really produced, you can see all the green, it's produced a lot of new growth, looking very good, and I'm very excited for it to grow some of these nice fruit, because the fruit's kind of described as like almost a bubblegum flavour. It's really interesting, and it's quite common now in cooking as a vegan option. Like it's used as like I guess an equivalent to pulled pork, like it's on pizzas and different stir fries and curries, and yeah, so I'm quite excited. It's something a little bit different. Now while we're up here, we'll just have a really quick look. All along the back there, it's a bit hard to see probably, but more like, my finger's all blurry, but those trees all along there, they are all citrus trees, so mostly orange trees, some mandarin, lime. I do also have a lot of citrus trees spotted all around the property. And again, in the interest of this video, they're probably a little bit less interesting. They grow very well here in my climate, and a lot of people have them. So that aside, yes, every year I spray them and keep them trimmed a little bit, and they produce in winter an abundance of fruit. The bigger orange trees, I've got some I'll show you a bit later, they usually fruit for most of the year, or the oranges at least hang on there for the most of the year. And we're coming in soon to get the new crop for this year. I'd say around June it starts. And then the oranges, the last of my oranges have just fallen off now, and it is early April. So I'd say about mid to late March, that's when the oranges all fall off. Whereas the lemons generally seem to grow all year round, which is quite exciting and easy, because I love lemons. It's easy just to pick them off the tree, use them for cooking or whatever. And also, while we're here, this is one of my big mandarin trees. It's been here for a long time and it's looking pretty good now. I can see quite a few fruit on there. I don't think you'll be able to see. Actually, I'll move a bit closer. There's some right there. This hasn't been as healthy. So down here we have some more citrus. This is my big lemon tree. It has grown into a bit of a mess, as you can see, but it is covered in lemons. Again, there aren't really too many that are quite ripe now, but I'm sure you can see that absolutely everywhere there are green lemons all over. Oh, and there's some ripe ones down there, which I'm sure you can see too. And further along down here, it's my lime tree, just there. And a big grapefruit tree. I do not like grapefruit. It produces a lot each year. I give some of it away, but I'm just not into it. So moving on again, I have my Passionfruit Vine, which is quite common here in Australia. It's everywhere. It has grown really out of control, but it produces a lot of fruit, and it's on a fence, on a paddock I don't really use. I just let it do its own thing. Also, in the middle of all of this, it's one of my 2 dragon fruit vines. So it's actually a cactus, and dragon fruit is that fruit you often see again in Asia and probably in Central America. It grows off the ends of the cactus, and it's like red, and the inside can be purple, white, or yellow. It's quite tasty, and it's weird. I'll insert a photo because I'm sure you'll know what I'm talking about when you see the photo. Also, of course, over here is one of my 2 big orange trees. I would say I'd have about 10 orange trees covered in green oranges that are nearly ready to be picked. There's another orange tree here, and then behind it a peach tree which is just losing its leaves. And there we go. Those are some of my favorite fruit trees that I have. Now I have a lot more. I have them everywhere. They're just some of my favorites, some that I could get to. As I mentioned, it's really quite wet at the moment, and I'll show you some more things as they start fruiting and coming along. But I love fruit trees. I love tropical gardens. So please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I'll be posting some more things soon. Thanks.